Throughout modern history, humanity has experienced technological leaps so dramatic that they seem to arrive almost out of nowhere. Within a single century, we moved from horse-drawn transportation to supersonic jets, from radio signals to global satellite networks, from room-sized computers to microchips smaller than a fingernail. While mainstream science attributes these breakthroughs to human innovation and decades of research, some theorists question whether every advancement can be explained so neatly. They suggest that certain technologies may have origins far more mysterious. The speculation often begins in the aftermath of the alleged Roswell crash in 1947. According to various testimonies that surfaced decades later, materials recovered from the site possessed unusual properties. Witnesses described ultralight metallic fragments that could not be bent permanently, beams etched with strange symbols, and debris unlike anything known at the time. Official statements maintained that the wreckage belonged to a high-altitude balloon from a classified surveillance program. Yet rumors persisted that something far more advanced had been retrieved and quietly transported to secure facilities for study. Ancient astronaut theorists proposed that if non-human technology were recovered, governments would have had one overriding objective: reverse engineer it. During the Cold War, technological superiority meant global dominance. Even the slightest advantage in propulsion, materials science, or energy systems could shift the balance of power. If an unknown craft demonstrated capabilities beyond conventional aerodynamics, instant acceleration, silent hovering, right-angle turns at extreme speeds, it would represent a scientific treasure beyond imagination. Interestingly, the decades following Roswell saw rapid advancements in electronics and aerospace engineering. The invention of the transistor in 1947 revolutionized computing. Integrated circuits emerged in the late 1950s. Fiber optics transformed communication. Stealth aircraft capable of evading radar were developed in total secrecy before being unveiled to the public. To skeptics, these breakthroughs were the natural result of research and competition. To believers, the timing raises questions. Could recovered materials have inspired innovations? Could scientists, studying unfamiliar alloys or energy systems, have unlocked concepts previously unimaginable? Area 51, a remote facility in Nevada officially acknowledged only in recent years, became synonymous with experimental aviation. For decades, the government denied its existence. Yet classified aircraft such as the U-2 and State Route 71 Blackbird were tested there long before the public knew they existed. When civilians reported strange lights and unconventional craft in the desert skies, officials dismissed them as misidentifications. Later, it became clear that at least some sightings involved secret military projects. This dual reality, where genuine secrecy coexists with unexplained phenomena, complicates the narrative. It provides a convenient cover for both experimental human technology and potentially something else. If reverse engineering programs existed, they would likely be hidden within layers of legitimate classified operations, indistinguishable from advanced aerospace research. In 2004, decades after Roswell, U.S. Navy pilots from the USS Nimitz carrier strike group encountered what became known as the Tic-Tac object. Radar operators tracked it descending from 80,000 feet to near sea level in seconds. Pilots observed a smooth, white craft with no visible wings, rotors, or exhaust. It accelerated instantaneously and disappeared from sight. Advanced infrared systems recorded the encounter. Years later, the Pentagon authenticated the footage. The object displayed flight characteristics that seemed to defy known physics. No sonic boom. No heat plume indicating propulsion. No control surfaces. If it were a secret U.S. project, why risk exposing it to frontline military personnel without briefing them? If it were for an adversary technology, it represented a leap so significant that global intelligence agencies would have scrambled to respond. Similar encounters were reported in 2015 by Navy pilots off the U.S. East Coast. Objects hovered against strong winds, maintained hypersonic speeds, and operated for hours without refueling. Official reports described them as unidentified, with no confirmed origin. Ancient alien researchers argue that these incidents may represent craft not designed on Earth. If so, the technological gap between humanity and its visitors could be vast. Studying such craft, even partially, could take decades or centuries. Reverse engineering technology thousands of years ahead of our own would not be simple replication. It would be a slow process of understanding unfamiliar principles of energy and propulsion. Some insiders have claimed that hidden programs exist within highly restricted sectors of the military-industrial complex. Programs so compartmentalized that even presidents may not have full access. According to these claims, recovered materials are studied in underground facilities by specialized teams bound by lifetime secrecy agreements. Critics argue there is no verified proof of such programs. Yet history has shown that classified projects can remain hidden for years before being revealed. The Manhattan Project involved over 100,000 people and remained secret until the atomic bomb was used. Stealth technology was operational long before the public learned of its existence. If governments did recover non-human craft, admitting it would raise immediate and profound questions. Who built it? Where did it come from? Are its creators still watching? Do they possess technology far beyond our defenses? The implications would extend beyond science into philosophy and power. Control of advanced propulsion systems or limitless energy sources would reshape economies overnight. Nations would compete not just for resources, but for alien-derived advantages. Disclosure could destabilize global order. Perhaps that is why official statements remain cautious. Unidentified does not mean extraterrestrial. Unexplained does not mean alien. The language leaves room for doubt while acknowledging mystery. Yet the pattern remains. Reports from trained observers. Multi-sensor confirmations. Objects demonstrating performance beyond known engineering limits. If these technologies are not ours, and not our adversaries, then they belong to someone, or something, else. And if governments have indeed recovered fragments of that technology, humanity's greatest breakthroughs may represent only the first small steps toward understanding a much larger cosmic reality. What if the truth about extraterrestrial contact does not begin in the 20th century, but thousands of years ago? What if the real secret government's guard is not just modern encounters in restricted airspace, but ancient knowledge that suggests humanity has never truly been alone? Across the world, ancient civilizations left behind carvings, texts, and monuments that continue to puzzle archaeologists and historians. In Mesopotamia, some of the earliest known human records describe the Anunnaki, beings who descended from the heavens and passed knowledge to humankind. These entities were depicted as powerful figures associated with the stars. In ancient Egypt, hieroglyphs and temple carvings show winged discs and luminous shapes hovering above rulers. The pharaohs themselves were believed to have divine connections to the sky. In India, the Sanskrit epics Mahabharata and Ramayana describe flying machines called vimanas, capable of traveling vast distances and unleashing devastating weapons. These texts speak of aerial battles, radiant beams of energy, and cities destroyed in blinding flashes of light. While mainstream scholars interpret these as mythological allegories, ancient astronaut theorists argue that such descriptions may be distorted memories of advanced technology witnessed by early civilizations. In South America, the Nazca lines stretch across the Peruvian desert in massive geometric patterns and animal shapes visible only from high above. Without aerial perspective, their full designs cannot be appreciated. Why would an ancient culture create artwork meant to be seen from the sky? Some believe these were signals or markers intended for beings traveling overhead. Even in Mesoamerica, the sarcophagus lid of the Mayan king Pacal appears to depict a figure seated inside what resembles a complex machine, manipulating controls, with flames emerging beneath him. Traditional archaeologists interpret this as symbolic imagery representing the underworld and rebirth. Yet to others, the imagery resembles a pilot operating a craft. If ancient humans encountered advanced beings, the implications would be staggering. It would suggest that what early societies described as gods, angels, or celestial visitors might have been technologically advanced entities interacting with humanity. Knowledge of agriculture, astronomy, architecture, and mathematics appeared to accelerate rapidly in multiple regions of the world. Massive structures such as the pyramids of Giza, Stonehenge, and the megalithic blocks of Baalbek were constructed with precision that still raises engineering questions today. Ancient alien theorists suggest that governments may possess classified archaeological discoveries that never reach public awareness. Artifacts that do not fit established timelines. Skeletal remains with unusual features. Star maps carved into stone that accurately depict constellations not easily visible without advanced instruments. Throughout history, control over knowledge has meant control over society. Religious institutions, monarchies, and modern governments have all shaped narratives to maintain stability and authority. If definitive proof emerged that ancient civilizations were influenced, or even genetically altered, by extraterrestrial beings, it could fundamentally alter humanity's understanding of itself. Consider the political and spiritual impact. Major world religions are built upon stories of divine beings descending from the heavens. If those beings were revealed to be advanced extraterrestrials, belief systems across the globe could face reinterpretation. Faith might not disappear, but its framework could shift dramatically. Governments, aware of this potential upheaval, might choose caution over transparency. There are also claims that certain archaeological sites are restricted beyond normal preservation protocols. Areas closed to the public for reasons not fully explained. Excavations reportedly halted without clear justification. While many of these restrictions have logical explanations tied to conservation and security, speculation persists that some discoveries challenge accepted historical narratives. In the modern era, space agencies search for life beyond Earth, scanning distant exoplanets for signs of habitability. Yet what if evidence suggests that life from elsewhere already visited here in the distant past? Would governments release that information freely? Or would it be studied quietly, its implications debated behind secure doors? The idea that aliens have always been here transforms the question entirely. It shifts the narrative from invasion to inheritance. Instead of asking when contact will happen, we would ask when it first occurred. Instead of fearing a future arrival, we would examine our origins. Perhaps the greatest secret is not that governments fear public panic over flying saucers. Perhaps they fear the collapse of long-held assumptions about human independence and uniqueness. If humanity's development was guided, assisted, or influenced by non-human intelligence, then our story is part of a much larger cosmic timeline. Ancient monuments still stand in silent testimony. Texts written on fragile parchment continue to whisper of beings from the sky. Symbols carved into stone endure through millennia. Whether myth, metaphor, or memory, they raise a haunting possibility that the line between ancient gods and modern extraterrestrials may be thinner than we ever imagined. If governments hold evidence connecting these ancient accounts to present-day phenomena, then disclosure would not simply confirm life beyond Earth. It would rewrite the human story from its very beginning. And perhaps that is the most powerful secret of all. In recent years, a subtle but undeniable shift has taken place in the way governments speak about unidentified objects in the sky. For decades, the standard response was denial, dismissal, or silence. Reports were explained away as weather balloons, optical illusions, equipment malfunctions, or misidentified aircraft. The topic carried stigma. Pilots hesitated to report sightings for fear of damaging their careers. Scientists avoided the subject to protect their reputations. Yet suddenly, official language began to change. The term, UFO, was replaced with UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena, a more neutral label that avoided cultural baggage. In 2017, previously classified military videos surfaced showing encounters between U.S. Navy pilots and objects demonstrating extraordinary flight capabilities. Unlike past leaks, these videos were later authenticated by the Pentagon. Officials confirmed that the encounters were real and that the objects remained unidentified. Congressional hearings followed. Intelligence officials testified under oath that there were documented cases of craft performing maneuvers beyond known human technology. Reports described objects accelerating without visible propulsion, hovering against strong winds, and transitioning seamlessly between air and sea. Some encounters were tracked simultaneously on radar, infrared sensors, and visual confirmation, reducing the likelihood of simple equipment error. For the first time in modern history, governments openly acknowledged that certain aerial phenomena could not be explained. Yet acknowledgement is not the same as disclosure. Official reports stopped short of confirming extraterrestrial origins. Instead, they emphasized uncertainty. Some objects were categorized as airborne clutter, natural atmospheric effects, or foreign surveillance technologies. Others remained unresolved due to insufficient data. The language was careful, measured, and deliberate. Ancient astronaut theorists believe this gradual transparency may represent a controlled release of information, a slow acclimation process designed to prepare the public for a larger truth. Sudden confirmation of extraterrestrial contact could have profound psychological, religious, and geopolitical consequences. Markets could react unpredictably. Institutions built on long-standing worldviews might face destabilization. A phased approach would allow society to adapt step by step. At the same time, skeptics argue that governments may not possess definitive answers at all. It is possible that officials are confronting the same mystery as the public, aware of advanced objects, but uncertain of their origin. In this view, disclosure is limited not by secrecy but by lack of understanding. Still, certain statements from high-ranking insiders fuel speculation. Some have suggested that materials of unknown origin have been recovered. Others have implied that retrieval programs exist within highly compartmentalized sectors of defense infrastructure. These claims remain controversial and unverified, yet they persist in public discourse. If non-human intelligence is indeed interacting with Earth, the implications extend far beyond technology. Communication would become the central question. Are these objects simply observing, conducting scientific study, monitoring military capabilities, or attempting contact in subtle ways that we do not yet recognize? There is also the possibility of agreements, silent understandings between governments and advanced visitors. While no credible evidence confirms such arrangements, the idea captures public imagination. Would world leaders conceal such interactions to maintain order? Would transparency empower humanity, or expose its vulnerability? Meanwhile, space agencies continue searching the cosmos for microbial life on distant planets, even as unexplained phenomena appear within our own atmosphere. The paradox is striking. Humanity scans the stars for signals while grappling with mysteries closer to home. Public perception is evolving. What was once taboo is now discussed openly in mainstream media. Scientists are calling for rigorous, stigma-free investigation. Military protocols for reporting UAP encounters have been formalized. International collaboration on data analysis is increasing. Whether this shift represents the beginning of full disclosure or simply a new phase of cautious acknowledgement remains uncertain. True disclosure would require more than admitting ignorance. It would mean presenting clear evidence of origin, intent, and capability. If that day comes, it may not arrive with dramatic announcements or emergency broadcasts. It could unfold quietly, through official reports, scientific confirmations, and steady transparency. Humanity might wake up one day not to panic, but to understanding. Until then, we remain in a space between denial and revelation. Governments have admitted that unknown objects exist. They have confirmed that some defy explanation. But the ultimate question still lingers beyond official statements and classified briefings. Are we alone? If disclosure is coming, it may redefine humanity's place in the universe forever. And if the truth has already been discovered behind closed doors, then the world may be closer to a cosmic turning point than anyone realizes.